About 1 o'clock that morning, they said that she had hung herself in her dorm room, and no note.
This is John. Nice smile.
There's Mitzi.
It was just a matter of
Interest and penalties.
Interest and penalties from, I'd say, 10 to 15 up to about 47,000.
In about 5 years' time. How can anybody get out of that?
I just feel like disappearing. I just don't want to, my existence wants to cease, you know, because it has spun off so many terrible things in our life.
Do you know that if all you continue to do is pay $600 and $900 a month on this debt, you will be dead before you are ever able to pay it off?
I think in a way I'm counting on that.
Hey, Joy, welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, what's up?
I know you don't advocate bankruptcy, but my husband is so depressed over our debt.
He's talking about bankruptcy?
He's talking about suicide.
I've thought about killing myself, but my son killed himself, so I couldn't do it to my kids. But yeah, you think, you know, if I just don't stop at the stop sign, I couldn't do that to my kids. Because like I said, my son did it, I just couldn't put them through that, you know, unless I could guarantee that they would think it was an accident, you know, but you can't, you know.
You review their procedures and policies, yes, and you've essentially agreed with them that this is prudent.
They have appropriate risk evaluation techniques in place. Yes, Senator.
I mean, you know, maybe their kid was sick, or maybe, you know, they were running out of gas, and we provided, or I'm sorry, our clients or the credit card companies provided them with that emergency money that got them out of that situation. Well, when it comes time to pay that, you better pay that back. You know what I mean? I mean, they helped you out of a situation. Now own up to the responsibility and do something about it.
There was a bankruptcy judge down in Virginia who said to the credit card companies, how much of what you're asking for from these families is principal and how much of it is interest that has been racked up? And the credit card companies hemmed and hawed and said they couldn't calculate it and so on. He said, okay, just tell me over the 2 years, how much, if we take everything from 2 years ago as principal, how much of what you're asking for is principal and how much is interest? And the credit card companies, on average, for every dollar they were asking for in principal, they wanted $2 more in interest and fees that they said they were owed. Well, think about that. That means for the average family who can't pay, they'll keep making payments of $50, of $100, but they'll never pay those debts off. They will owe those debts until they die. Death will be the only form of debt discharge that they will ever see.
That's how different it is to be rich than it is to be poor, because when you're rich, the bank pays you for being rich. If you have a lot of money, they give you money because you have a lot of money. They say, you have so much money that we should give you some. Because you have a lot, you should have more. Here, take more money. Take this guy's 15, fuck him, you should have it.
The rich are getting richer. That ain't gonna change and that ain't gonna stop.
Price for a house now for just your average Joe is $268,000. So that went up 51% from last year. So it's gone up. Everyone's been doubling their money. Like I paid $425 for my house and we sold it for $950. It's a track house. It's not. There's nothing special. You know. It's just a house. I mean, if the median price is $268,000, I don't know what some people are doing. On the other hand, there's some people that bought and now have made, you know, a nice amount of money, double, on their homes. So.
And sure, there'll still be many families who never got into credit card debt and never got into trouble. But a majority of America is now in trouble with credit cards. And if we don't get this debt problem straightened out, we run the risk of turning into a two-tier society. A group that does well financially, and it's a good-sized group, stays out of debt, you've got parents who can afford to send you to college, you can buy a house, you can live the American dream, small number of people. And then a whole part of America that keeps working and that's always just behind, always living paycheck to paycheck, always worried about whether or not they can pay their medical bills, always struggling, always borrowing from here to pay over there. A life not only of great anxiety, but ultimately a life of great vulnerability. Because at some point, when you can't keep the juggling act up, when you're out of work for a little while, when you get hit with bigger medical debts, when you divorce or someone in the family dies, it all just crashes down. And these people go from being what we used to call middle class just to being part of the poor.
We're moving toward a vote at 12 o'clock, and so we're going to have some problems with our next panel. So we're going to limit you to, if you'll come on up, 4 minutes each to make your statement.
Good morning, Chairman Shelby and members of the Senate Banking Committee. My name is Anthony Jenkins, and I'm an Executive Vice President at CitiCards. I appreciate the opportunity to speak before you today to discuss the credit card industry.
Good afternoon, Chairman Shelby and members of the committee. My name is Marge Conley, and on behalf of Capital One, I also want to thank the committee for holding these hearings. And at the outset, I do want to acknowledge that, you know, we do hear the criticisms and concerns, and we are very sensitive to them.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's my pleasure here to represent MBNA today, and a pleasure to be before the committee. I think that the vast majority of lenders in the country do grant credit responsibly, and that the vast majority of the users of that industry act very responsibly.
It's now been 6 years, and I will get 1 or 2 credit card applications for Sean from the same people that he owed thousands and thousands of dollars to. And you just want to scream and say, you know, I gave you my son, what more do you want?
In the highly competitive credit card marketplace, a lost customer is difficult and expensive to replace.
We still got the credit card applications in her name, and a few of them said, we want you back.
At CitiCards, we work hard to maintain customer loyalty.
At Chase, we value our customers. I want to say that at Capital One, we're committed to re-earning our customers' business every single day. Thank you.
Thank you.
To each of our witnesses, thank you for being here today. I apologize that you've had to truncate your remarks, and I really regret that we don't have the opportunity to ask questions of each of you. I tend to be the guy who likes to positively enforce good behavior. For those of you that are doing the right thing for the right reasons, I salute you. And I would like to find a way to, for us to put a spotlight on those good policies.
But thank all of you, and I appreciate you today, and I hope you understand our predicament on the floor of the Senate. We're late now. Committee's adjourned.
Thank you.
Good day, thank you. Please be seated. Hope you enjoyed your Memorial Day weekend.
I know you don't want the Iraqis to be saddled with large amounts of debt, but why should future generations of Americans?
Let's don't burden Iraq with loans, and because the only thing they'll be able to repay their loans